My boyfriend became obsessed with success, then started watching videos about leaving me. I finally discovered his secret plan, and it left me shocked. I know this might sound completely insane, but I can't shake the feeling that I'm onto something. My boyfriend and I have been together for 4 years and living together for 3. We're young. He's 24, and I'm not much older, which feels like an important piece of this whole puzzle. Here's the thing. I love him, and I don't think he wants to break up with me. At least there's no clear evidence of that. But lately, something about him has shifted, and it's unsettling. He's stuck in a dead-end job. He hates it. He works long hours for minimum wage, and yet he doesn't make any moves to change things. He's 24. It's not uncommon for people his age to feel lost. I get it. But what frustrates me is that there are so many better opportunities available to him. We live in an area with great entry-level training programs, and there are similar jobs out there that pay more and demand less. Sometimes I find jobs for him or send him programs I think he'd like. Once in a while, he gets excited about something I send, but he always puts off applying until the weekend, by which point the listing has closed. He doesn't take the initiative to search for or apply to anything on his own. When I do bring it up, and trust me, I don't nag, I bring it up maybe once a month, he gets defensive. He tells me I don't believe in him, that I think he's dumb or incapable of success. None of that is true. In fact, I think he's just like most 24-year-olds, figuring it out, taking his time. But his mindset is in this negative loop. He's upset that he hasn't made it yet, and he projects that frustration onto me. But then, a month ago, everything changed. Out of nowhere, he's become a completely different person. He stopped playing Xbox altogether. He's going to the gym daily, consistently, for hours, which isn't entirely out of character for him, but still unusual. He's constantly on my laptop now, studying and applying for jobs. At first, I was thrilled. This is what I've wanted for him all along, to feel motivated, to work towards something better. But the more I think about it, the more something feels off. He's been more argumentative lately, especially about this idea that I don't believe in him. He brings it up constantly, saying things like, "You think I'm dumb. You don't think I can succeed." No matter how many times I tell him that's not true, it feels like he doesn't hear me. Then, I noticed something strange. His YouTube account is connected to our Xbox, so I can see everything he's been watching. I wasn't snooping. It's just there. And lately, his watch history has been filled with these weird, hyper-motivational videos. You know the type. Some AI voice droning on about how you'll rise above everyone who doubted you and leave behind the people who didn't believe in your greatness. A lot of them feature breaking up with your partner as part of this supposed glow-up. It hit me like a ton of bricks. What if he's doing all of this, working out, studying, applying for jobs, not for himself, but to prove something to me? What if he's gearing up for a revenge glow-up, where he breaks up with me, just so he can say, "See? I told you I was better than you thought." I've been where he is. For years, I worked long shifts, came home to study, ate, and slept, with zero time for anything else. I burned out so badly I ended up in the hospital, multiple times. I don't want that for him. I want him to be happy and healthy. But the way he's going about this, it feels like he's trying to compete with me, to prove he's better than me. The truth is, I've always believed in him. I don't think less of him because he's struggling to find his path. I've only ever wanted to help. But now, I wonder if I've been doing too much. Have I unintentionally made him feel worse about himself? Have I been pushing when I should have been supporting differently? I don't want to lose him. I love him. But I can't shake this feeling that he's on this self-destructive path, trying to prove something to me that I've never even doubted. Do I back off entirely and let him figure this out alone? Do I confront him about what I've seen on YouTube? Or do I keep supporting him and hope this phase will pass? All I want is for him to be happy and healthy. For himself, not for anyone else. But I don't know how to help without pushing him further away. What would you do if you were in my position? Update 1. First, I just want to say thank you for all the advice and support. I didn't expect so many people to comment, and honestly, it's been both validating and overwhelming. A lot of you made me see things I hadn't thought about before, like how much pressure my boyfriend might feel being with someone who's seemingly got it together. I've been trying to approach things with more understanding, but, things have gotten stranger. Let me explain. Since I wrote the original post, my boyfriend's glow-up behavior has gone into overdrive. It's like he read some manual titled, How to Become a New Person in 30 Days. For starters, he's gone from spending hours gaming to spending every free moment on self-improvement. He's still at the gym every day for hours, but now he's mixing in these intense meal preps. Our fridge is full of neatly labeled containers of chicken breast, rice, and broccoli. He's also started watching YouTube videos about high-income careers, finance, and building generational wealth. Yes, that phrase exactly. I should be proud of him, and part of me is, but something feels performative? Like he's not just doing this for himself. It's hard to explain, but it feels like he's trying to prove something to me. And then there's the job hunt. He's been applying to positions nonstop, which is amazing. But here's the kicker. He's suddenly aiming for jobs that are way out of his league. I don't mean to sound harsh, but he's applying for positions that require years of experience or qualifications he doesn't have. For example, he applied to be a financial analyst despite not having any background in finance. When I gently suggested he might want to aim for something more realistic, he got really defensive. He said, "See? This is what I mean. You don't believe in me." And I'm just standing there like, dude, I'm trying to help. Speaking of YouTube, the motivational videos have gotten even more bizarre. I caught him watching one where the narrator talked about how leaving your doubters behind is the ultimate success story. The narrator literally said, "Prove to her that you're better off without her." It was hard not to take that personally. I asked him about it, calmly, and he brushed it off, saying it was just background noise. But when I pressed further, he admitted that these videos inspire him. He said they make him feel like he's capable of achieving anything, even if the world is against him. I didn't know how to respond. I'm not against him. I've never been against him. If anything, I've been his biggest cheerleader. But now I'm wondering if I've accidentally made him feel like he needs to compete with me. The way he talks to me now feels different. He's been bringing up money a lot, like how he's going to make more than me someday and how he'll show me that he's not some loser. I never called him a loser, but he keeps saying it like he's arguing with some version of me in his head. It's frustrating because I've never cared about who makes more money. I just want him to be happy and fulfilled. But now it feels like he's treating our relationship as some kind of scoreboard. The weirdest part? He started comparing himself to me. For example, he'll say things like, "You think you're so much better than me because you have your life figured out." Which couldn't be further from the truth. If anything, I feel like I'm barely holding it together most days. But he doesn't see that. He sees my achievements and assumes I think less of him because he hasn't made it yet. After the YouTube incident, I decided to have a serious conversation with him. I told him how proud I was of his progress and how much I believed in him, but I also brought up my concerns. I said something like, "It feels like you're trying to prove something to me, and I don't understand why. I've always believed in you. I've never thought less of you." His response? He looked at me for a long moment and said, "You just don't get it." When I asked him to explain, he got defensive and accused me of being patronizing. He said, "You're only saying that because you feel guilty for not supporting me before." That really stung. I thought I was supporting him, but maybe I've been going about it the wrong way. Maybe my attempts to help, sending him job listings, suggesting training programs, came across as me trying to fix him instead of just being there for him. At this point, I'm at a loss. I don't know how to support him without making things worse. Some of you suggested in the original post that he might feel emasculated or insecure because I'm further along in my career. If that's the case, I don't know how to fix it. I can't downplay my achievements just to make him feel better, but I also don't want him to feel like he's in my shadow. Others suggested that this could be a self-esteem issue unrelated to me, that he's projecting his insecurities onto our relationship. That makes sense too, but how do I help someone who doesn't seem to want my help? I keep coming back to the motivational videos. What if he's internalizing this toxic idea that success means leaving me behind? That the only way to win is to break up with me? It's a terrifying thought, but it's one I can't ignore. I love my boyfriend. I want to see him succeed. Not because he needs to prove anything to me, but because I want him to be happy and fulfilled. But the way he's going about this feels unhealthy, and it's putting a strain on our relationship. Am I overthinking this? Have I done too much or not enough? If you've been in a situation like this, either as the boyfriend or the partner, please let me know. I'm open to any advice or insight because, right now, I feel like I'm navigating this blind. Update 2. Hi again. I didn't think I'd be back with another update so soon, but things have escalated and I feel like I've uncovered a bigger piece of the puzzle. First, thank you to everyone who commented on my first update. A lot of your insights were eye-opening, especially about how this might be more about his self-esteem and less about me directly. I've tried to approach everything with that in mind, but things have gotten complicated. Over the past week, my boyfriend's behavior has gone from motivated to borderline obsessive. He's still on the job hunt, but now he's talking about landing a 6-figure career like it's some kind of personal crusade. He's watching even more of those bizarre YouTube videos, and they're getting darker in tone. They're not just about self-improvement anymore. They're about cutting toxic people out of your life and leaving behind anyone who doesn't believe in your greatness. I've tried not to take it personally, but when you live with someone who's basically binge-watching how to ditch your girlfriend for success content, it's hard not to feel attacked. Last night, everything came to a head. He was on my laptop, again, applying for jobs, when I asked him if he wanted to take a break and watch something together. His response? I don't have time for that. Some of us are trying to actually do something with our lives. Ouch. I asked him what he meant by that, and he launched into this rant about how I don't take him seriously, how I've always looked down on him, and how he's going to prove me wrong. He said, "One day, you'll regret not believing in me." I was stunned. I told him I do believe in him and that I've always believed in him, but he just scoffed and said, "Yeah, sure you do." That's when I snapped. I told him that his behavior lately has been unfair and hurtful, that I've been nothing but supportive, and that I'm tired of being treated like the enemy. He didn't say anything for a long time. Then finally he said, "I'm doing this for me, not you." But the way he said it didn't feel convincing. It felt like he was trying to convince himself more than me. After he went to bed, I couldn't stop thinking about everything he said. Why does he feel like I'm against him? Why is he so focused on proving something to me when I've never doubted him in the first place? That's when it hit me. This isn't about me. It's about him. I think he's spent so long feeling like a failure, stuck in a dead-end job, unsure of what he wants to do with his life, that he's created this narrative in his head to justify his struggles. In his mind, I'm not just his partner. I'm a symbol of everything he thinks he's not. I've been successful in my career, I'm confident in what I want, and I've worked hard to get to where I am. And instead of seeing me as his cheerleader, he started seeing me as his competition, or worse, as his critic. It breaks my heart because I've never seen him that way. But now I realize that no matter how much I reassure him, it won't matter until he starts believing in himself. This morning, I decided to try a different approach. Instead of talking about what he's doing or how I feel, I asked him a simple question. What do you want? At first, he seemed confused. He said something vague about wanting to be successful, but I pushed further. I asked him what success looks like to him, what kind of life he wants to build, not for me or anyone else, but for himself. He got quiet, really quiet. Then finally, he admitted something that shook me. I don't know. He doesn't know what he wants. He's been so focused on trying to prove himself that he hasn't stopped to figure out what he's even working toward. That's when I realized the motivational videos, the gym, the job hunt, it's all a coping mechanism. He's trying to fill this void inside him, but because he doesn't know what he actually wants, he's latched onto this idea of success as a way to validate himself. And unfortunately, he's tied that validation to this imaginary competition with me. I don't have all the answers yet, but I feel like this was a breakthrough. I told him that it's okay not to have everything figured out and that he doesn't need to have a perfect plan right now. I reminded him that we're a team and that I'm here to support him no matter what path he chooses. He seemed receptive, but I could tell he was still processing everything. I'm giving him space to figure things out, but I'm also setting some boundaries for myself. I can't keep walking on eggshells, worried that every word I say will make him feel worse about himself. At the same time, I want to be there for him in a way that doesn't feel like pressure or judgment. And I know this won't be an overnight fix, but I'm hopeful that we're starting to move in the right direction. If anyone has advice on how to support a partner who's struggling with self-esteem, or how to rebuild trust in a relationship that's been strained, I'd love to hear it. Thank you again for listening. You've all been a huge help.